Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Roll Up Varsity. Another great day. This is Connor.
This your boy Sticks.
Sticks, welcome back, man. An
You know what it
exciting week
is.
of high school football recruiting.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, I feel like we say this every week, man. It's been crazy. Not as many commitments, not as many top schools dropped as of late,
Thank
but
God.
yeah, gives us a little bit more time to talk a little bit instead of having to whip through all these things. But before we get into all that, man, how was your week and what'd you get into?
What did I do this weekend? 22nd, I think. So that was my best friend's birthday. I think I talked about that in the last podcast. What did we do for his birthday? Oh, we went out, had a nice little dinner. That was fun. He turned 28. He's a year older than me, but he got held back. That's where we ended up being best friends in high school. So he hangs with me. That's my brother for life. Happy birthday, Zay. That's the one that also did the podcast, Talk of the Two, that I was able to talk about this podcast and grow our platform on too. So if y'all hear this, go take a listen. It's on my page. How about you? What'd you get into? You're on mute, Connor.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, man.
Operator error. It's okay.
Yeah, operator error. Wife's family has a lifelong friend that they're actually moving to South Carolina. So we went over to their place, had like a going away party for them. Had a great time. I was the DD, so I couldn't get too wild. Sunday, got the opportunity to speak on a podcast as well. Talked us up a little bit. Joined the High Top Sports podcast. Talked to them quite a bit and had a good time doing that. Other than that, man, kept me busy, but the week itself was good. Busy but good, and let's get to work, man.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
have
do
some
it.
fun.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And I gotta check that podcast out. You gotta send me that link, man. You
Oh,
know
I
I'm
got you. I
definitely
got you.
tuned in
My guy
all the
Sheldon's
way
a
there.
great guy. He's a great guy, man.
Yeah, I've seen him work before, and he's a solid dude. He's somebody that always said that he would reference us when he grabs from our podcast or our spaces. So big shout out to him. One of the very few who get information from us and actually give us the credit for it. So big shouts out to him for being solid. And then
For
let's
sure.
transition into the top schools. You guys know what it is over here. Real information, real predictions on this side. So we're gonna start off with the 4-star defensive lineman Hunter Osborne. He's from Hewitt, Trussville, Alabama. He's down to 4 schools. You hear he's from Alabama, so no surprise there that Alabama is in the top schools, followed by Clemson, Texas, and Tennessee. He set a commitment date for August 1st, so keep an eye out there to see who he decides on. Then we're going to go over to 4-star wide receiver Aiden Williams. He's from Ridgeland, Mississippi. He's down to 6 schools, with those being Georgia, Jackson State, LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Jackson State doing a great job continuing to be even in consideration for these top prospects, which is a hard thing to do out there, but they've consistently done that recently. And then over to the 4-star edge, Desmond. Connor, you know when it gets hard, I let you get the blame for it. So go ahead. Desmond who?
Umio Zulu.
Umio Zulu. That's what I meant to say. Charles Herbert Flowers from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. He's down to 4 schools. The people who put his name on the jersey going to be mad at him. So Pittsburgh, Ohio State, North Carolina, South Carolina. Whoever's the equipment guy there, good luck to you for whoever he chooses to. He has a commitment date set for August 29th, so you know they'll be sweating that day. On to 4-star edge, Dylan Gooden. He's narrowed his list down to 4 schools. With his 4 schools being, I don't actually see it in the outline. I have another operator error.
Another
So
operator
if you
error.
could jump onto those 4
another
schools for
another
Dylan Gooden.
operator error. Man, oh my goodness. I'm making all kind of mistakes today, sending the outline wrong,
Oh,
man.
it wasn't in it. Okay, I thought it
No,
was my
it
fault.
was
If you
not in
didn't
the
say that, I'd
outline.
have took the blame for it.
That's an operator error on my end. I probably should have let you take the blame for it.
Yeah, I'll
But
take the blame for it since you did the tough last names. I forgot to paste it in there.
I'll help you with this one, man. His top
ahead.
4 schools are Maryland, Penn State, Rutgers, and Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so I knew that, and so good list of schools there for Dylan Gooden, narrowing his list down. I wish I could have had it off the top, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And then on to the 4-star cornerback, Braden Marshall. He's in Lake Mary, Florida. He's down to 3 schools with a commitment date set for Saturday, July 30th. And his 3 schools are Connor. I don't have those either.
Dude, I don't know what I'm doing today.
It's my bad. I should know these off the
Well,
top. It's my fault.
no, it's all good because technically he was down to 5 schools. Braden
Right.
Marshall was, and then as of like I think a day or two ago, he narrowed it down from those 5
Hmm.
to 3 more. Give me 1 second. I know he's got North Carolina in there.
Nice.
UCF, unfortunately, the hometown UCF team did not make that. He has
Yeah, that's good.
Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Nebraska in those final 3, cutting out, let's see, Pittsburgh and UCF from what were his final 5.
Which is crazy because Pittsburgh's done a great job of recruiting the state of Florida this cycle. I believe they have 6 commits from the state of Florida, and then UCF being the closest school in proximity to him, getting cut out of there. So he clearly wants to play away from home, and he has some good Power 5 school options right there. Do you want to jump on the commitments? If you need me, I'll jump in.
Yeah, I got you. Hopefully, there's no more operator errors on these ones.
Yeah,
Um,
these ones is all you. So.
but yeah, man. So first we'll start off. Georgia caught fire on the trail, landing 5-star number 4 safety Jonil Aguero, and then 4-star interior offensive lineman, the number 10 interior offensive lineman in the country, Kelton Smith. I think for a lot of people, Jonil Aguero looked like he was going to Miami for a little while. Ended up deciding to go to Georgia. I think that development kind of started to surface within the last few days before his announcement. Miami looked to be in really good shape for a lot of these kids. Olas, won't say his last name, Jonel Aguero, Malik Bryant, who they're still in a good spot for, and a couple other kids, and a couple of them went other directions. So it was surprising for a lot of people. But yeah, Georgia ended up being able to reap the benefits of that change, landing him. Then we'll go over to 4-star number 9 offensive tackle in the country, and he's a top 75 player in the country. Chase Basantis from Don Bosco Prep in Ramsey, New Jersey. He committed to Texas A&M, had nearly 40 other offers on the table, so no shortage of offers there. Ends up going to College Station, going to Texas A&M. Jimbo's done a great job recruiting offensive linemen over the course of the last few years since he's been there, and really since NIL has come about.
Yeah, he's done a great job recruiting in general. One thing though that blew my mind recently when I was looking up the Texas schools, they were actually so far 6th in the state of Texas in recruiting, behind Texas, Texas Tech, even SMU was in front of them, Baylor was in front of them. So it was something surprising there to see that they were 6th in the state of Texas. But I mean, obviously, it won't stay like that. Just something that caught my attention. I had to bring that up.
No, yeah. When I saw that hit the timeline, I was very surprised as well. Like you said, obviously, it won't stay that way. But pretty interesting to see that they were behind schools like TCU, Baylor, Texas Tech, stuff like that.
SMU really blew my mind.
Hey, don't sleep on the Pony Express now.
I'm not sleeping, but Texas A&M, SMU, sheesh.
That is a big difference. It's a big difference. Earl
Yes,
Dickerson's
sir.
not walking the halls of SMU anymore.
Not for a long time.
But yeah, we'll move over to 4-star number 5 tight end in the country and top 100 prospect Walker Lyons from Folsom, California. He committed to Stanford over BYU, USC, Utah, and others. Stanford's had a history of developing good tight ends in the past, so no surprise there to see a top tight end prospect to go to Stanford. 4-star number 14 offensive tackle. I actually just spoke about him a couple moments ago. And the number 1 player in the state of Connecticut, Olas Alinen, however you say that last name, committed to Alabama over Miami, another one of those kids that everybody thought was going to Miami. The other schools that made up his top 5 were Oregon, Georgia, and Ohio State. 4-star cornerback Josiah Wagoner from Spanaway Lake, Washington. He committed to Oklahoma over Texas, Oregon, and California. 4-star wide receiver Joshua Manning from Lee's Summit, Missouri. Stays home, ends up playing for the Tigers, committing to Missouri. Manning had nearly 20 other offers to choose from as well. And then 4-star offensive tackle Peyton Kirkland from Dr. Phillips High School right here in my hometown of Orlando, Florida, commits to Texas over more than 50 other offers, surprising a lot of people, I think, up until maybe a couple days before he announced his commitment. But Texas was not a school that was in his top 5. They just kind of came in last minute. There's a lot of speculation as to what's going on with that. I spoke actually on High Top Sports podcast a little bit about that recruitment, and and trying to kind of just let people know kind of what went on. I know a lot of the schools in his top 5 cooled on him.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why
Yeah,
I was muting and unmuting. He wasn't a take. That's
yeah,
what it is.
and I know that's the favorite. It's the favorite line of every fan of a school that does not land a kid. The whole, "Oh, he wasn't a take. He wasn't a take." I mean, we could pretty much tell you in this situation where a lot of schools cooled on him. Peyton Kirkland even himself said he thought he was going to Miami until about 3 or 4 days before. It didn't end up being that way. Said he was crying on his mom's lap, I think, in an interview, and then decided to make a last minute decision to flip it over to Texas.
All that trolling do that to you sometimes.
But we have our guest waiting for us now. So I'll pick that back up where we left off. We're going to move over to have our guest join us. Really excited about this one, guys. We have 4-star running back Michael Mitchell from Middleton. Hey, Michael, how you doing, sir? Oh, Michael, you're muted, man.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now. We got you.
All right. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Appreciate you joining us. Before we get started into all the questions about how everything's gone for you through your recruiting process, your college decision, all that good stuff, kind of give us a little bit of background about who Michael Mitchell is and how you've gotten to where you're at now.
Yes, sir. I'm from Florida. I'm a Florida boy, actually. I was born and raised here, and I stay in the community in Oakleaf. I've been to 2 high schools. I live with my mom. I live with my little sister, and really, I live a football is everything life for me. So football my way out. So
I respect that personally because I came up living with my grandma, mom, and little sister. So I grew up the only man in the household, so I know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael, obviously, you said you're a Florida boy. You made a commitment about a month ago now. Decided to go out to Utah. What was it about Utah that kind of made that the right move for you?
So reason why Utah, it's just the amount of love they showed me. As they was the first school they came to. They came to our high school to see me. So I felt some type of love there, some type of connection there. And the running backs coach lives in Jacksonville, so he knows where I come from. He knows me and him could be together. We can get used to Utah. This is his first year at Utah, so it would just be I felt like it would be better for me to be able to do that and go over there with him. And also the way they're pointing around it is that I would start as a freshman. I would touch the field early, and that's really more than anything I want, so I can focus on my dream and making it come true. I'd love.
But yeah, so Michael, obviously you said the running backs coach has a good relationship with you. He's from around the Florida area. He also got a running back from the state of Florida last year in Jalen Glover. Are you familiar with Jalen at all? Has he talked to you at all through the process? Or
Yeah, I talked to him once, and after that, it was a no-go. I mean, I know I vibe on my own a lot, but it seemed like he vibe. He's like low key, but yeah, I talked to him once. Said it was a nice place.
so obviously you're not just a football guy though. You also run some track as well. Pretty well documented that you've got a sub 1100-meter time, which is really impressive for somebody of your size. What is being a track athlete helped you out in football as well, besides just your typical speed stuff?
Yes, sir. I should have pointed that out. I actually ran track since I was little. Since I started playing football too. I felt like in my mind is there's no time to stop the grind. if I can play football, I can go to another sport and work on something to help me better with football. And track was that other thing to do. Running, just running completely. I'm a running back. That's all I do is run. But if I can run in a straight line, a sub, my PR is a 10.8. The 11 is what they posted. My PR is a 10.8. I feel like if I could do that, I can go on the football field. I can run a full flat, and I can go run wherever I need to. SEC, ACC, I can go to any college I need to, compared to my track stats and football stats.
So with Utah, they have your commitment. What other schools are in, or are you somebody that's planning on taking other visits? Are you somebody who, when you commit, you just visit there, no OVs anywhere else?
So I have one official. I haven't taken any of my officials yet. I have one official, and that will be to Utah. The rest of the schools local. I don't want to waste any unofficials on them, so I just go to them. I go to other schools around here, like Florida. I've been to Florida about 8 times. I believe this time around they're gonna pull that offer this time because the way the coach been talking to me and the way that he likes me and the other running back they have, which is actually 20 minutes down the street, and I'm boys with them, Trayon Webb. I know him personally, so I feel like he wants two running backs out of those spots, and I feel like I'm be the next one with the offer. Same going on with Florida State. Florida State just texted me and hit me up today. Coach Norvell actually texted me 2 days ago, asked me how I was doing. Coach Johnson texted me today, talking about Mike. We got an offer on the table for you. Come see us Saturday, and we come pick it up. I was like, I can't miss out on that chance because that's big time football. Any program that shows interest, I'm me personally, because where I came from, I'm gonna show interest back. And believe it or not, Florida State's my dream school, so I gotta go down into Tally.
Yeah, speaking of Trayon, he's actually somebody who was the first recruit that we even had on this podcast. That's somebody, a real close friend of mine. Like, if you ever talk to him and say, I was on an interview with Sticcs, he'll go crazy. That's Lil Bro right there. So the fact that you know him means you good peoples too. And exactly what you said. If FSU and Florida schools like that, those are Power 5 schools giving you the opportunity, you got to go out of there. So now let's say they both give you an offer, and you said you don't plan on taking officials there. Is there any other schools you have in mind to take officials to, since you don't want to use it in state?
If they pull the offer, I'm gonna have to take an official there, and then it's gonna be wherever I feel like is home. If I'm gonna take before I make anything change with my commitment, I'm gonna take my official to Utah, and then after that, if I go anywhere else, if my heart tell me to change, I'm gonna have to change.
Yeah, you got to go where the heart tell you to.
Yes, sir.
So obviously you're committed to Utah. Florida is still talking to you. Florida plays Utah in the Swamp week 1. Is that an unofficial visit that you're looking at trying to go see? One, obviously you get to see Utah in the state of Florida, and then it's also a school that's talking to you in Florida.
Yes, sir. So I believe I asked the coach already. I asked the Utah coach, man, can I get a ticket to the Florida game? He said, nah, I can't get that one because it's in Gainesville. Man, I said, all right, I'm gonna find a way to get there because that's two teams that's both interested in me, and I want to see which one can dog it out and win it. That might have a big decision on me too. So seeing how a home crowd could act and seeing how a team could come down to Florida and act.
I mean, if I'm you as a recruit, I hit up the Florida staff, say, hey, I'm interested to go in and check this game out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go get you a lanyard and watch it out there in the recruiting section.
Yeah, that's gonna be a move for me for sure.
So you said obviously Florida. You said Florida State was your dream school growing up.
Yes, sir. Still is.
Still is. Okay, so Florida State's still the dream school that you think they might offer you soon. Is there any because like a rivalry with like, hey, I grew up a Florida State fan. That's my dream school. So do you let rivalries get into your recruiting process with like Miami or Florida, or have you kind of been able to separate that through your process?
I've really been able to separate that. The only big schools I know that's rivalries is Florida and Florida State. So right now, how I'm playing it is both big schools both go at it with each other. Whoever want me more, whoever's gonna show me more interest, whoever I can make an impact on that team immediately. So that's really gonna make a big impact on that one.
So what went into FSU being your dream school?
So when because I hate watching football. It's different watching football and playing football. But when I was watching football, when I was a little kid, I seen just people run the ball. I didn't know what was really going on. Then not even a couple years ago, the year that Dalvin Cook came out, I was watching Dalvin Cook. That's actually when I switched to a running back position, and I just started toting the rock. And then after that, I took Florida State all around my bedroom, my bed sheets, walls is Florida State. I'm crazy now.
No, that's a good story right there. I mean, and I love to get that insight of why people pick FSU.
So you said you switched over to running back. What position were you playing before you went to running back?
I was a scrawny kid playing quarterback. And but the thing about it was I was a running quarterback, but also, fourth down and long, just throw it up, Mike.
So you had the gunslinger mentality back there at quarterback.
Uh, yes, sir. I felt like I was Cam Newton.
So you said on they asked you to go over there on Saturday to FSU. Are you planning on taking that visit?
Yes, sir. So right after Friday at Florida, I'll actually be making my way down there. So I will be there bright and early, hanging out with the players. They actually don't even want me to work out. They just want me to come down there and hang with them. So I'm going down there. I'm gonna see if it feels like home or not.
So you plan on attending Florida for FNL? Are you competing there or just going on a visit?
At Florida, I am competing. I'm competing for that offer. That's more than anything I want. Whatever O I get first, but O is really what I want because that's just what I need at this point. Because SEC, that's what everybody's watching. I'm trying to be on TV, big time football.
Yeah, they say that you could do less in the SEC and end up getting taken higher in the draft for doing more at other conferences like the ACC.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's also why I picked Pac-12 football though, because I can go to Pac-12, pop out my freshman year. About 3 years into that, I could be going into a draft, making money, helping my family out. So it's
Smart.
all on how you want to play the game. But right now, Pac-12, right now, Utah, that's my decision for many reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people compare Utah, especially, even though they're a Pac-12 team, they say they're probably the most SEC-like school in the Pac-12. Very run heavy, very physical. Just a really good team, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play in the Swamp here. Really, we're only about a month away now. Should be a fun game to watch. But have you been able to go out and visit Utah yet?
No, sir, my first visit will be there August. My official.
Okay. And when you take those official visits, whether it be to Utah, and then maybe if some other offers come across the board to you, what are you really looking for aside from just kind of saying like, "Hey, I want it to feel like home"? Is there anything specifically that you yourself are looking for, or maybe your family's looking for?
Me personally, my mom tells me this as a son, as a son. She tells me to go to school whatever you want to go to. So I take that as in you're gonna believe in me to go wherever I need to go. When I go to a school, I want more than anything the culture to be the best thing. The best thing when I step foot in there. I want to be able to see everybody knows how to work together. Because me personally, I'm a social person. I will talk to you even if you're quiet. If you're in a corner, I'm gonna go to you and be like, "Yo, what's up?" I'm just that type of person.
So where Utah had a high profile running back taken last cycle, and FSU, off the top of my head, I don't believe they had a high profile running back taken last cycle. Is that something that plays into your commitment factor?
Yes, sir. I believe the person you're talking about is Zach Moss. One of the. I watched his film. He's that guy. He's in the league right now. I look at our last person I remember as a running back going into big league from Florida State is Dalvin Cook. So actually, that was a big impact. I wanted to go somewhere where I know I was going to be able to. If a coach, NFL coaches get their eyes on me, they'll be able to see me at Utah. But right now, Utah's popping, and that's all I need.
Yeah, Zach Moss, another Florida boy too. So they'll take care of you right up there at Utah. Being a Florida boy, a running back. I think Tyler Huntley's from Florida, and he was the quarterback for that same team as well. Went to high school with Zach Moss. But yeah, man. So obviously you've got multiple offers on the table. Made the decision to commit to Utah. Still listening to some other schools. At the end of the day, I know you kind of said the home feel is really what's most important with you. But what is it going to take for another program, regardless of where it is, Florida, Florida State, maybe Oregon comes in and recruits you hard, just whatever program decides to offer you, what would it take for them to get you to flip your commitment from Utah? Because I know you seem pretty locked in there.
Me personally, this is my first time going around. I just started getting my offers this year. So me personally, in order for you to get me to flip my commitment and towards the running backs coach I'm committed to right now, it's gonna take a lot, man. You gotta put a lot on the table. And just me personally, me going up to Utah is making moves. I'm making moves in Florida. A lot of people didn't know me until this year, so it's gonna take a lot to get me to flip. It's possible, but it's just gonna take me a lot.
Would the only schools that you consider flipping to have to be in state, or is there other schools outside of the state of Florida? Because you brought up Florida State. Is there any schools outside the state of Florida that's doing a good job recruiting you still?
I have a couple colleges out of state, but the really two schools that can make me flip is Florida and Florida State. That was the only two schools I put my trust in.
So you said you're a social guy. I can definitely tell the conversation we're having, and I can see why you and Trayon get along really well, because he's the same way, man. Always willing to talk, always willing to hang out. Talk a little bit about that friendship, man, because I know Trayon's a great kid. Curtis is really close with him. But how did you guys become friends, and how has that friendship grown over that course of time?
Before that, make sure you tell him put them cleats on at FNL, because he's ducking the smoke. He gonna be there, but he said he not clean up. I told him he put cleats on, I'll lock him up.
I got you. I wouldn't say we're close friends, but every time we bump heads, it's a yo, what up, Webb? Yo, what up, Mike? I went to one of their games when I first met him. I went to one of their games this year against Lincoln. They lost it, but me personally, as a running back, I looked up to Webb because he just looked like he's playing at a private school going against these bigger kids. And then I didn't play varsity at the time. So I went over there. I looked at Webb. Yo, Webb, you know how to tote the rock. You're different. He said, yo, thanks. After that, it was just a quick, yo, I play ball Middleburg. I'm going heavy right now. So like, then after that, we just talk every now and then. But I mean, Webb is one of the best running backs I've ever seen personally.
That's low, bro. I love hearing that. Gas him up.
But yeah, man,
everybody need it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Got to gas some people up all the time, man. But hey, so you said your recruiting process is pretty much blown up as of late. What does it mean to see all the hard work you've put in? And because some kids don't appreciate it as much because they get it early. You're about to go into your senior year. It's really started to take off for you. What does it mean to see all of that, I guess, hard work come to fruition for you?
So I've been trying to get my recruiting started as a freshman. As I said, I started at Oak Leaf. I played JV for 2 years, switched to another school. I started immediately. My junior year, when I started immediately, my first game, I had over 200 yards in 2 quarters. I had a college coach hit me up right after that the next day when I got to school. Said, yo, Mike, I love the way you tote the rock. We would like to offer you a scholarship. After that point, I knew where I could go. I could go anywhere I want to. Second game, I put 300 up that game. Just toting the rock. Had another coach call me the next day. After that, my recruitment went up, and I said, yo, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get my skill set in front of the schools I want to go to. So even though I got offers from a whole bunch of other schools I didn't even know existed. But as soon as I got a text from Florida and Florida State, I was like, yo, I'm going crazy this year. Let me just keep turning up, man. Had a video going overtime. A coach seen a video overtime, then hit me up after that. I'm like, anything's possible. As soon as anything happens, anything's possible.
Yeah, you definitely got to tag us in that overtime video. I want to see that one.
I
definitely got to send me that overtime video. But yeah, man, I was kind of looking at your stats on here. Almost 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns in only 8 games, which is wild given the fact that you're looking at about 200 yards average per game in 6A. So that's crazy. But when you kind of get into the open field, you start to break off for a long run, what's going through your head?
As soon as I break off, man, as soon as I break that front line, I believe, hey, linebackers are fat. They ain't catching me. If I break past the line, I'm gone. If I get hawked, I don't like to count that as a touchdown. I don't even if I get hawked, my knee touches the line, I'm still in the end zone. I don't even want to call it a touchdown. I haven't got hawked since my sophomore year. I will never get hawked. I love toting that rock, man. That rock, when it's in my hand, I'm in open field. It's just me against me. Only time I get tackled is if I trip on my own feet. That's how I feel.
I was about to say, with your speed, you break that first line. That's it. You out of there. I can't see you getting hawked personally. And then
Yeah, and then I've been working on that weight too. I weigh 205 pounds now. Still.
weighing 205, being able to run like that is crazy.
Apologize, guys, for the technical difficulties. It looks like our guest Mike Mitchell's phone died in the middle of the interview. So we're going to move on with the rest of the show. Pick up the commitments where we left off. We're going to go with 4-star tight end Jackson Bowers from Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. He committed to BYU over nearly 30 other offers. Then we'll move over to the 2024 class. In a commitment that happened today on Tuesday, July 26th, 4-star, number 5 cornerback and top 50 player in the country, Jalen Mbakwe from Clay Chalkville High School in Pinson, Alabama, committed to the Crimson Tide over Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn, and over 20 other offers. Mbakwe is a prospect that we spoke about. I believe it was like episode 2 or 3 when he released a top 10 or top 12. Obviously narrowed that process down pretty quickly over the next month and a half to 2 months. He was able to secure a spot with the Crimson Tide. And then we're going to move over to 2024 4-star number 5 tight end in the country, Tavion Galloway from Chillicothe, Ohio. He committed to LSU. He had nearly 30 other offers on the table. And decided to take his talents to Baton Rouge. I will say I do like that fit because Brian Kelly does a really good job of using his tight ends in his offense. So very tight end appealing system over there. So now we've got actually a couple of big time prospects that will be announcing their commitments on Wednesday. We're recording the podcast on Tuesday, but we drop on Thursdays. So 2 big time prospects. One being 5-star number 1 safety Caleb Downs, and the other being 4-star defensive lineman Wilkie Denaud. They both will be committing on Wednesday. Curtis and I are going to give our opinions on where we think they're going. And then when you guys listen to this, you can let us know if our prediction was correct when we drop on Thursday. So Curtis, let's start with you, man. 5-star number 1 safety in the country, Caleb Downs, Mill Creek High School out of Georgia. He is down to Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Curtis, where is he going to school?
Personally, Bama has done a great job of taking talent out of the state of Georgia, especially this cycle, and they even started for early 2024. Personally, if you ask me, and I don't have inside information on this, just a little bit of tidbits from people, I think he actually ends up going to Alabama over the in-state school of Georgia. What are you thinking there?
Curtis, I have to agree with you, sir. I believe it is going to be the Crimson Tide for the number 1 safety in the country. Like you said, they do a fantastic job of recruiting the state of Georgia. They've pulled kids almost every year on a regular basis. And then Nick Saban personally coaches the defensive backs at Alabama, regardless of who the defensive coordinator is there. So it's really hard. One, I think it's hard at any time to tell Nick Saban no at any point during the recruiting process. But when he's going to be the guy that pretty much oversees your position, and they've put countless defensive backs into the league over the past few years, I think Alabama ends up being the choice over a Final Four of 4 elite schools at recruiting this last year: Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, and then of course the Crimson Tide.
And those are all great options in all schools. Hard to tell no to. Georgia being in-state, really hard to turn them down, staying in-state, especially with them last year breaking the record for defensive players in the first round. Ohio State has consistently been able to churn out defensive backs. And then Notre Dame, you have a defensive-minded head coach going out there recruiting really well, and he has people like Sauce Gardner to put on his belt as somebody to say that he put into the league. So when it comes to defensive backs. So real good list of schools wherever he ends up out of those remaining schools is a real good situation. But I personally think, again, like you said, exactly, it's real hard to tell Saban no, especially when he's going to be the personal one working with you. So I think he ends up there. And then going on to the prediction, Wilkie, I got for me, it's going to go down to between FSU and Auburn. And my personal prediction is Auburn. So, which a lot of people I think he's going to FSU, and if he did, I personally wouldn't be surprised. But I did talk to an Auburn insider because I was actually trying to get him onto the show. Right, I was trying to get him onto the show, which I think he ends up after his commitment getting on being one of our guests. But from what I heard there compared to what I heard from FSU, I think he ends up at Auburn. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if FSU, but Tennessee and Indiana would completely shock me. My prediction towards him is 0 personally, but if he did, that'd shock the world in my opinion. How about you? What you think?
Yeah, I'm with you there. Obviously, as Final Four of FSU, Auburn, Tennessee, and Indiana, um, it's a 2-horse race for me. I don't think Tennessee and Indiana really have any chance of landing the kid. Um, he's a state of Florida kid, so from Fort Pierce, like you said, wouldn't shock me if it was FSU. I think the early consensus was the Seminoles, but Auburn seems to have made a late push. From what I've heard on Auburn's end, they feel confident that they land Wilkie, who's a very good prospect. Hoping we can get him on the show here soon to talk a little bit about the commitment, regardless of where he decides to go. Man, I'd love to hear his take, how the schools recruited him. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to end up being the Auburn Tigers that went out there. Obviously, if you go off of predictions on 247 or on 3, 247 has Auburn as a 67% chance of landing him. And I think that's probably pretty accurate as far as this recruitment goes.
And yeah, I mean, it's 247 crystal ball, in my opinion, going to be correct this time. I'm also somebody who really doesn't follow those crystal balls. I'm actually somebody who likes to, in the past, when people are following crystal balls, but I know where they're actually going, I love to set those up. Like a good example is RJ Henderson. It's a horrible person to bring up because he didn't even make it to campus, doesn't even play football anymore, but he was 100% going to FSU, and I was, setting those up, and everybody was so confident. And at the All-American game, he picks Florida, and actually
a game that we were both in attendance for.
It cuts to me and Connor really celebrating it, and you could see me getting my trolls off back then. So I usually don't go by the crystal balls, but in this situation, I think they got it right. Auburn, I think, ends up landing commitment. Again, wouldn't be shocked if it was FSU, but the push and what I've heard from both sides, because I've heard people tell me stuff from FSU where they don't feel that confident, but then that could be something that is a result of them not landing of recent, even when they did feel confident. So that's a possibility, but Auburn seems a lot more, we're getting them compared to FSU. So that's why I decided to give the nod there.
Yeah, so to go to your point, Trayon Webb's crystal ball predictions were 72% to Penn State. Obviously, we know why it was that way. Trey told us that. Trey told us that very specifically. I will say Steve Wiltfong has put in a prediction, and granted, Steve Wiltfong is about 92% correct. So a lot of times when he puts a crystal ball in, it is going to be correct. Trey just found a way to work the system a little bit. But Wiltfong did put a prediction in for Caleb Downs to attend Alabama. However, he has not submitted his prediction for Wilkie Denard just yet. And 247 is actually going to be covering Denard's commitment. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Steve Wiltfong, or as people like to say, a Fong bomb in the next 12 hours or so. I think he commits midday tomorrow.
Hopefully Wilkie tells him Tennessee. That'd be funny.
That would be funny. I think that might start to be a trend, though, here in the future where people are pushing out some misinformation to try and throw everybody off.
Troll Fong.
But yeah, man. So, I mean, other than that, Curtis, anything else you wanted to get into this week?
That really sums it up. I would hope I would wish the guest did it drop. That would have been nice, but
Yeah,
it happens.
definitely. Unfortunately, like I said, guys, Michael Mitchell's, it looks like his phone died and he dropped in the middle of the interview. We're really getting into some good stuff with him.
Yep.
Because he was on, though, I will text him personally, see what song he wants to close us out with this week.
Yep.
But before we close out, obviously, I have to shout out our sponsor. Didn't do that at the top of the show. So please, guys, our show is sponsored by Sativa Doll. Sativa Doll is a veteran-owned company that offers 3 different products: CBD soft gels for you and your pets, and a roll-on for pain relief. The soft gels come from a trusted source that manages the product from seed to sell, so no funky business on their end. They have eyes on it the entire time. It is a product that's recommended by medical professionals as part of your regular wellness routine. The roll-ons formulated by pharmacists to give you a quick, effective cooling relief. So, guys, please like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on the podcast. Do the same thing for Sativa Doll. Go on, purchase their products. Use Varsity 25 for 25% off your order. Give them an honest review. I've had nothing but great things to say about Sativa Doll's products. They've worked great for myself and my puppy. So 5 stars on my end, but please, guys, if you want to support the podcast, support the people that make it possible for us to do this, go to sativadol.com, use promo code varsity25 for 25% off your order, and rate them 5 stars on their products as well as our podcast.
Y'all go show some love over at Sativa Doll. Like Connor said, yeah, every time I bring it up to anybody who's actually purchased there, nothing but great things to be said. And my personal favorite is the pet CBD things that they have going on over there, because that's something new to me. And like I said, my friend has a sick dog, gave it to the dog, and they've seen results, which is crazy. So y'all go out there, Varsity 25, show some love, show some support to us, rate them 5 stars, rate us 5 stars, and let's keep this thing going. We've grown, our platform has grown so much over the last few weeks, and I can't thank you guys enough. I love to see it. Let's keep going. Let's keep this varsity train rolling.
Absolutely, man. All right, I think that's about it for Varsity, for myself, for Curtis. Signing off.
Varsity, let's get it.